on Magnolia.
That's Natalie Del Carmen from her new album, Pastures. We found Natalie in her hometown of Los Angeles and asked her how she dealt with the dreaded second album syndrome.
Yeah, oddly enough, the first record I put out, I was like so young, and I think it was just a culmination of songs I had made that didn't quite have like a theme central to it. So this is really, I consider the first thing I'm putting out for what I want and hope to sound like going forward. So I think the album after this, I have more pressure mentally to get it right. This one, the second one, no, this is a debut mentally in my head, honestly.
All right. Well, you could just get over that by making every new album your debut album, and then you don't have to worry about the second album syndrome.
Exactly.
So you mentioned there's kind of a concept or something that links these songs together. What is that?
Yeah, it's early 20s doubts and feeling like you're behind, even though you're not, and you have years of your life to live, but it's really easy to get caught up in what other people are doing, especially on social media. I was talking with my friends about this recently, that I don't know if we were ever meant to like know this much about other people on social media. And, you know, everyone's buying a house and getting married and have a new job and make a ton of money. And it's really hard in your 20s to try to figure out your own place when you're completely surrounded by what other people are doing. So that's what the album's about, is just trying to find yourself young. Yeah.
All righty. So you're a LA native, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And then you're making this kind of country folk music recorded in Nashville. So that's kind of a dichotomy there, if I can use that word. So
yeah.
how do you kind of deal with that? Because you sound like you have parts of you that want to be in the country and parts of you that love the city.
You know, honestly, Marty, that has been my life theme for a lot of my life. I feel like I'm someone who's like torn between two things at most times in my life and every part of my life. I did grow up in LA, you know, around more pop-centered music, and I went to music school in Boston, and I have always loved country music. I grew up on it, but, you know, growing up in high school and in college and stuff, it's not super cool to like that kind of music. And I think I always branded myself as singer-songwriter because that was more accessible than calling myself an Americana country artist. But I think, especially with this album coming out, just realizing that I didn't want to make pop music, and I don't typically feel, I guess, pulled to that kind of music. And I love Nashville. I could move there one day, I think, but kind of like you said, it's like, this is home for me, but I have this whole other part of myself, the other 50%, loves Nashville, loves the sound down there and that kind of music. And yeah, I'm always torn between two things. So I try to honor both.
All righty. And who is Brunjo? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but there's some kind of musical collective that you've been working with on both this album and the previous, right?
Yes, we met in college and it felt great. I was writing all these songs, honestly, and I think a lot of artists reach the point where they don't know how to get them out, and production has never been my strong suit. I've tried to learn it, and it's just, that's a whole other job in itself that you could go down, the amount that you have to learn for that and all the plugins, and I just could never do it. We met in college as friends. They're called Brunjo. They run an amazing music studio in Kingston Springs, just outside of Nashville, and we've done these two albums together, and I think they've felt very wholesome because it's just friends making music, which sounds cheesy, but there really was there's no ego involved in it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I think sometimes going forward and as things grow, it becomes putting out music quickly and trying to hit numbers, which is important on its own. But it was great to make this album with them, and it just felt like friends. Yeah.
All right. So how collaborative is it? Do they help you choose the songs, or is it the sonic direction or the correct take? How does it work between you guys?
Yeah, it flows pretty well. It's great because I always say it's a yes room. So I love working with people where you give an idea and it's not like, no, I don't think that would work. I love people who say yes and are willing to try things. And it's always been that. I always bring the songs, and I tend to have a very clear vision of what I want out of music and what I want it to sound like with references and all that, but they're there to fully execute. I like this sound. How do we do that? And they're there to step in to tell me how that's actually executed. So they've been great in terms of actually getting ideas out there.
All righty. Now, one song from the album has been out for a while, Good Morning from Magnolia. How did that happen? It's been out like a year, right?
But it's morning on Magnolia, where there's hillsides like a postcard. What I felt before, now I found the words to tell you who I've been. And looking back, I was quick to hide what was good for you wasn't meant for I, and I died, yes, just right on time to grumble in a song just how I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's been out a while. That was like the third single or so I released in 2024, so which is crazy that is like far away now. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. I think I consider that the transition to realizing the kind of music I wanted to put out. So I felt really proud to put that out. It felt the most me. It started leaning more country Americana. And what was great about it is I got good feedback from it, which was great. And I was hoping for that because I was stepping away from maybe a more pop-centered style of writing. And from there, it just grew. So I love that song, and it defines a lot about what the album is about as well.
Okay. And is there something that the album is about?
Yeah, just like trying to, it's so hard to put into words. I don't know, when you're young, I think you're told a lot, and in school and in high school what you should be and what you're gonna become a lot of the time. So kind of realizing you hit a threshold in life where you don't know who you are yet, and that can be very scary, and letting go of parts of your life that you thought were very solidified.
All righty. And I believe you play some banjo on the record, and there's other people playing other banjos and string.
Yeah.
Is this the banjo that you inherited from your grandfather?
Yeah, it was his grandfather's banjo, so it dates back to like the late 1920s, I think.
Right, because I was
Early
trying to do the
30s.
math, and I'm figuring it can't be your grandfather, and it's from
No. Yeah, he grew up in, oh, I would hate to get this wrong if you ever saw this. I think my grandpa, he grew up mainly in Missouri, so came from that part of the region.
Yep.
I love it. It's, just recently really starting to break down on me. So I'm trying not to refurbish it though, because I like to keep it in the condition that it is in. So
Right.
I may have to get a new banjo to actually continue playing, but
Right.
we'll see.
All right. And you got some whistling going on the record. I'm always fascinated by whistling because it's one of those things you can either do or not. Most people can't. Well, what's the song? Pressure in the Pastures, right?
Oh, I know someone's out there killing time with me.
I can't whistle.
Oh, you can't
I'm
whistle?
in that. No, that was not me, unfortunately. We had the gang come together and they group whistled, and I was just there to help run the system. I've tried so many times. I envy people who can whistle, but I don't know. I think the ship has sailed for me, unfortunately.
Group whistle. I think that's a first.
Group whistle. They did pretty good. It's pretty in
Did
tune.
you try everybody out to see if they could whistle in tune? And
Yes,
was
we
there auditions
we
held?
actually did. There sure was. For a good 5 minutes, we had one guy, and then we were like, no, he can whistle too. And it's like, let's just bring everybody in for a group whistle.
All righty. And there's a tune, another tune I want to touch on, Plans Upon Plans. Is that like a thunderstorm happening at the end there? Or is that an effect or a plug-in, or is that a real thing?
I knew clear as day when I walked out and said, God, is it all up to work out? And plans are just plans now.
It is. I think it's a real, actually, I should know the answer to that. I think it's a real thunderstorm that was recorded in Nashville that they had. I loved, that's probably one of my favorite songs I've ever put out, like really looking back. And it's just, I don't know, after college, I was like, I'm very, I always hate using this word. I'm very type A, very like, I like to get things done. And
Right.
being a musician doesn't always align to that lifestyle. So
Right.
I had all these plans about my life and like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do all these things. And then again, your 20s start to happen and you realize like a lot of life is actually out of your hands and a lot of things don't happen on time and a lot of things happen late. So it's about all these plans I had. And the rain at the end is kind of just like not knowing what I'm going to get out of that when plans are just plans. And yeah.
It reminds me, there's a David Bowie track where if you listen closely, at the end you can hear the telephone ringing in the background. It went off in the studios kind of randomly, but they decided to keep it in there, and it's kind of the same vibe, I guess. It's like, hey, stuff happens. Let's go with it.
Yes, I like it. Yeah.
And
I
on
like
that track,
stuff.
I believe you have Amelia. She's playing both banjo and fiddle. Amelia Eisenhower, is that how she pronounces her name? Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about her, because she seems to have a major impact on how the record sounds.
She's fantastic. I mean, her and her partner, Tanner, they both are part of the Brunjo studio. And
Right.
at the very beginning in college, it was like the three of us working together. She's fantastic. She's one of those people who just, I don't know, every time I'm with her, she just whips it out of nowhere and she doesn't need to practice and she's just phenomenal. And she completely defines every song on here. It's like we have a good foundation and then Millie comes in and she adds all the emotional part on the fiddle and the mandolin. And yeah, those are my favorite instruments. So maybe I'm biased, but she is very, very good at what she does. And I plan to keep her around a long time.
Does she know this?
I think she does. Yeah, I think so.
Very good. And the opening track is what? El Cortez, right?
Yes.
So why is that lead off the record? Was there a lot of thought involved in the track list and all that stuff?
Saving good old struggling, steaming out the fire, pulling up hands on the downer. That's yellow on my soul. I'm at the bottom of beginning, hope it's somewhere steady and drifting, and I'm the tallest glass of water in town.
Yeah, I'd say half of it has to do with I wanted to start the record top down a little bit more fun, so that song's more upbeat. I think it gets sadder as you go down, sort of, but that's a song about my dad, so I would say it's probably the only positive song on the album. So I wanted to start the record with, these are a lot of songs about young adulthood and being confused and upset. So let's start the song off with something I'm grateful for. And I wanted to write a song about a trip I was with my dad on a trip in Vegas, and we were gambling for the first time together. And I just wanted people to be reminded of all the ways they can feel very rich in life that don't involve money. So that's how I wanted to start the record.
All right. Was he the tallest glass of water in town, or you?
Both. I'd say both.
All right.
I love that. It's funny.
So what do you got planned for release day? How does this thing take off and move forward?
Yeah, I'm playing more shows this year than I think I have in the past, which is really exciting. I'll be in Nashville in like a week or two. We're going to play the OG Basement. We're going to do a Bluebird round again, which is awesome. I love playing the Bluebird. And that's kind of like my album release, I think. I'm playing a few shows down in Nashville that week and hopefully going to play a lot of the album. So I think that's the plan too.
And do you play solo or do you play with these guys that you made the record with?
For the Basement show, it'll be these guys that I did the record with, which is awesome because it sounds just like the record. And for the Bluebird, it's just me. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. And
Yes.
how do you prefer one or the other, or are they just different experiences for you when you're on stage?
They're different experiences. I honestly, I don't want to say it because I think I don't have enough experience playing with a band. Honestly, I've been alone for so long. So I would say my answer is I always prefer being alone because, like I said, I think I have control issues and I plan a lot, so it's easier to be alone. But playing with a band is so fun and you have other people with you. It's less pressure. But I think I do like being alone because I think a lot of the songs are so lyric centered too. So I feel like I can deliver it better when it's just alone. Yeah.
All righty. And
Yeah.
one more song that I thought maybe we should talk about, since we're talking about Los Angeles, there is a song called Los Angeles. There's a little bit of synth in there as well, and 12-string and all sorts of stuff. And maybe it kind of feels like the album that kind of most it catches the essence of what you're trying to talk about and sing about in one song. Would that be a fair statement?
It's not ever selfless, but a sacrifice of ourselves in life. Time ever leaving, time better spent. It's none to you that I can admit. When you're wanting blowing in the wind, and I want Los Angeles. I'm born in Los Angeles.
It's the one song on there that's sort of storytelling based. It kind of ties to Plans Upon Plans about how I was gonna, or it's what I said at the beginning, where I feel like I'm two people at all times, because a part of me wants to just move to a smaller town and live a quieter life and do all that and still do music, and then a part of me loves living in a city and being busy and having a lot of things to do. And I wrote a song kind of about like a relationship that was ending because someone wanted a smaller life and someone wanted a bigger life. And by default, you can't mend the two sometimes.
Right. So if you were to move to a small town, what would you miss most about the big town?
I think I just love access to things so close. I'm someone who on a whim likes to go do things. And I feel like in a small town, I just visited my partner's family. They live very far out in North Carolina. And It's so amazing being there. And I absolutely love visiting them. And then it's like the weekends and you're like, man, it would be really nice to go see a movie right now, but it's going to take us an hour and a half to get there. So do you want to go see the movie anymore? I don't know. Stuff like that. I would miss being near things. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.